What if I told you that just one sentence, spoken at the right moment, could spark something deep inside a woman, not because you're charming, not because you're successful, but because your words touch her in a place she didn't expect, a place that most men never reach. You're in the middle of a conversation. She leans in slightly, a soft smile begins to form, her eyes linger on you, not out of politeness, but genuine interest. And here's the twist. You're not even trying to impress her, you're not showing off, you're not performing, you're just speaking, with presence, with clarity, with a kind of calm confidence most men never develop. Sounds like a superpower, doesn't it? But it's not magic, and it's definitely not manipulation. It's a skill, built on awareness, on emotional intelligence, and a deep understanding of how women actually connect. These aren't tricks, they're tools, and when you learn how to use them, your words won't just be heard, they'll be felt. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'll walk you through 9 powerful phrases that spark emotional intrigue, invite curiosity, and leave a lasting impression, often without you saying much at all. Each phrase is designed to resonate on a deeper level, not just in her mind, but in her emotional memory. Because once you understand how women connect, and you learn to speak to that part of her, you'll never chase again. So use these phrases wisely, say them with intention, say them with presence, and she'll feel like she just stumbled upon something rare, something grounded, something real. She won't quite know what it is yet, but she'll know she doesn't want to lose it, and that is the power of speaking from emotional presence. Let me ask you something. What actually makes a woman remember you, not just for a moment, but hours, days, maybe even weeks later? It's not the charm, it's not your job title, not your car, and it's definitely not the "you're so beautiful" line she's heard a dozen times this week. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most compliments, they fall flat, not because they're wrong, but because they're expected. They don't land, they don't move her, they don't make you stand out. She's heard it all before. It's just noise, but there's one phrase, one line, that shifts the entire dynamic. There's something really unique about you. I like that. Simple, right? But the effect is powerful, because this isn't about her makeup, her clothes, her smile. This touches a deeper part of her, the part that wants to be seen, not just admired. You're not complimenting, you're not flattering, you're noticing. And that one word, unique, it hits differently. It creates tension, it triggers curiosity, it sparks emotional electricity. She starts to wonder, what exactly did he see in me? What makes me unique to him? Now she's not thinking about your appearance, not your status. She's thinking about herself, through your eyes. And that internal loop of curiosity, that's where real attraction begins. Here's the strategy: you don't throw this line out casually, you don't hand it out like candy. You wait, you observe, you listen. When she shares something real, a memory, a vulnerable story, a weird, brilliant joke she didn't rehearse, that's your moment. Pause, look her in the eye, breathe, then say, "There's something really unique about you. I like that." Say it slowly, calmly, don't explain it, let the silence do the heavy lifting, because in that pause, you've done what most men never do. You've seen beneath the surface, you've touched a layer of her identity that rarely gets recognized, and now, she wants to show you more. She feels emotionally noticed, not just visually appreciated. And that's not flirtation, that's connection. So next time you're talking to a woman, don't chase validation, don't reach for the easy line, wait for the moment. The moment her soul slips through, then, lean in, and say it, "There's something really unique about you. I like that." Then stop talking, let her feel it, let her mind wander, because in that quiet moment, She's not thinking about your looks, she's remembering how deeply you saw her, and that is where the magic lies. Most men don't realize this. They spend so much energy trying to say the right thing, trying to look impressive, trying to keep the vibe going. But they miss the moment that matters most, the moment when a woman reveals something real. Not polished, not picture perfect, but human, raw, true, and that's your opportunity. Not to charm her, but to connect with her. Let me show you how. Most guys, they default to the usual compliments. You're gorgeous. That dress is amazing on you. You've got such pretty eyes. Yeah, sure, those are nice. But here's the problem, every guy says it. It's become background noise. It doesn't reach her. It doesn't make her pause. And most importantly, it doesn't make you stand out. But that's what I like most about you. That line, when said at the right moment, it's a game changer. Because now, you're not complimenting her body, you're acknowledging her soul, you're seeing her not as a highlight reel, but as a human being. Let's take this deeper. Imagine she tells you about working late on a project, not for praise, not for promotion, but because she couldn't let her team down. Or maybe she opens up about how she failed, and kept going anyway. Or maybe she lights up when talking about helping kids at a local shelter, even though no one really notices. That's when you lean in, you look her in the eye, you keep your tone calm, and you say gently, you know what? That's what I like most about you. Now pause, let that sink in, let the silence do the rest, because what you've just done, without trying to impress, is made her feel seen, not just admired. Not just validated, seen, and that is rare. It tells her, you don't have to perform for me. I already value what you probably don't even advertise. That creates emotional safety. It tells her, you can breathe around me, you can be real. And guess what? Most men never offer that space. They're too busy performing, trying to be clever, funny, cool. But you're present. You're paying attention to what matters. And that's why she remembers you, not because you were flashy, but because you reflected something in her that even she might have overlooked. That's not flirtation. That's recognition. That's resonance. So here's the strategy. Don't rush to use this line. Don't throw it out just to sound deep. Wait for the moment when she's not trying, when she's just being. That's when the truth shows up. That's when you say it. That's what I like most about you. Then let it breathe. No need to explain. No need to follow it with a joke. Just sit with it. Let her feel what it's like to be noticed in a way she rarely is. Because when you speak to a woman's inner world, not her image, not her persona, but her quiet strength, her effort, her essence, you don't just make her smile, you make her pause. You stay with her, long after the compliments fade, long after the conversations end. She'll remember you, because you were the first one who saw what truly mattered, and you said it, with courage, with calm, and with truth. There's a moment, in every real conversation, a moment when time slows down, and something in her shifts. It's not about how she looks, it's not even about what she says, it's in how she says it. The way her eyes light up, when she talks about something she loves, the pause, when she's choosing her words carefully, because she's being vulnerable, the softness in her voice, when she opens that hidden door, and if you're truly present, not just waiting for your turn to speak, you'll notice it. And that's when everything changes. That's when you get to say something that stops time. The most interesting thing about you is. Now pause, let that land. You're not throwing out some recycled line. You're not flirting. You're witnessing her. You're reflecting back. Something real. Most men, they focus on attraction. They try to impress. But that only schemes the surface. You're going deeper. You're creating resonance. Let me ask you something. When was the last time You made a woman feel truly recognized, not just noticed, recognized. The kind of moment where she thinks, he saw something in me that no one else ever noticed. That's what this does, but don't rush it, don't say too much, too soon, don't try to be deep, without listening deeply, let her reveal herself. Then, when the moment is real, you speak. The most interesting thing about you is how you find joy in the smallest things. It's actually really inspiring. Or, the most interesting thing about you is how you're strong without losing your softness. That's rare. Or even, the most interesting thing about you is how you challenge people, not to win, but to help them grow. I noticed that you don't have to say it perfectly, you just have to mean it, because when it's real, she'll feel it. Deep, not in her mind, but in her chest. You're not flattering her, you're speaking to her identity. To the part of her that most people overlook, but you see it. That's where emotional intimacy begins, not with intensity, but with attention. Let me tell you something personal. I once had a conversation with a woman, just over coffee, nothing serious. She told me how she always stayed calm during chaos, at work, in family, even through heartbreak, and I said, the most interesting thing about you is how your calm isn't passive, it's a kind of quiet strength. It makes people feel safe, without even realizing it. She didn't say anything at first, she just looked at me, and smiled, that kind of smile that says, no one's ever said that to me before. And that's when I knew, it landed, because the man who sees what others miss is the man she never forgets. So next time you're talking to a woman, slow down, be present, watch, and when you feel something real, say it. You know what I find most interesting about you? Then, let the silence do the rest. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can give isn't a compliment, it's recognition. There's something I said once, almost without thinking, but I'll never forget the way it landed. We were mid-conversation. She had just told me she turned down a 6-figure job offer, not because she couldn't do it, but because it didn't align with what she really wanted, her values, her vision. I paused, looked her in the eyes, and said, I like women who know what they want. She didn't say anything at first, just smiled, slow, thoughtful, like something shifted, and in that moment, I realized something most men never understand. This one sentence, it's not just a compliment, it's a mirror, a standard, and a quiet challenge. You're not chasing, you're not trying to impress, you're declaring something, and that changes everything. Most guys, they enter conversations trying to win approval. They laugh too easily, agree too quickly, avoid conflict, they give away all their power before they even realize it. But when you say, I like women who know what they want, you flip the dynamic. Now she's wondering, do I show up that way? Am I clear in who I am, and what I desire? Would this man actually respect me? You've said something that speaks to her identity, and that's power, because deep down, you're really saying, I value clarity. I respect decisiveness. I'm not here to play games. I'm not looking to be chosen. I choose. That energy, it's magnetic and rare, but here's the key, timing matters. You don't blurt this out in small talk, you wait, you watch, you listen, and when she shows you something real, like when she shares her goals unapologetically, or stands her ground with quiet confidence, that's your moment. You look her in the eye, you nod just once, and with calm admiration, you say, I like women who know what they want. Then pause, let the silence carry the weight, because in that silence, she feels it, not just the words, but the respect behind them. And here's what separates you from every other man, you live it. You don't chase what doesn't align. You don't bend just to be liked. You choose, intentionally. And because of that, your presence carries value. Women feel that. They feel that they don't have to perform, because they're being seen. So ask yourself, are you leading with clarity, or waiting to be accepted? Because the man who knows what he wants doesn't need to say much. Sometimes, all it takes is one sentence: I like women who know what they want. And the ones who do, they'll feel it, they'll rise, and they'll never forget you. There's a moment in every man's life when he stops trying to be understood by everyone and starts being okay with being misunderstood by most. And that shift, it changes everything. Now let me share one of the boldest things a man can say to a woman, not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty: I'm not sure you could handle me. Now pause. Because I know how that sounds: cocky, maybe even a little dangerous. But when you say it right, with a smirk, a calm voice, and grounded energy, it hits different. Because most men, they're too available, too agreeable, too easy to figure out. And once she feels like she's read the last page of your story, she's already moving on. But when you say, I'm not sure you could handle me, and you let it land, you've planted a seed. Now she's wondering, wait, what does that mean? What's behind his calm? What's under the surface I haven't seen yet? You've flipped the script. You're no longer chasing. You've become the man she's curious about. Let's be clear, this isn't about ego. It's not about being better than her. It's about standards, depth, selective presence. You're saying without saying, I know who I am. I'm not for everyone. And I don't need to be. But timing matters. This isn't a line you drop out of nowhere. You say it when the energy is playful, when she's teasing you, poking at your calm, trying to shake your stillness. That's when you lean back, hold her gaze, and with a calm smile, say, I'm not sure you could handle me. Then, you stop talking, you let the silence wrap around your words. And here's the key: you have to live it, not just speak it. You walk like a man who's anchored. You breathe like a man who doesn't need attention. You choose, rather than try to be chosen. And women, they feel that, not in their ears, in their gut, because you're not performing, you're not available to everyone, you're grounded, selective, rare. So the next time you feel that spark, that energy shift, that challenge in her voice, don't react, don't chase, just smile, lean back, and say it: I'm not sure you could handle me. Then pause, and let her imagination do what most words never could, because the man who doesn't need to explain himself is the one she'll never forget. There's a quiet kind of power that doesn't come from dominance, or from saying too much. It comes from knowing your worth, and not handing it out cheaply. There's one phrase that captures this energy perfectly: I'm not that easy. Now, most men, they'd never say this, because most men are too quick to give themselves away. The moment a beautiful woman smiles, they fold, they chase, they offer validation, time, attention, before she's even earned it. And what happens next? She loses interest. Because if something's too easy to get, it's rarely seen as valuable. But when you say, I'm not that easy, with a smirk, with relaxed posture, with calm eyes, you're not rejecting her, you're inviting her to rise. This isn't a game, it's a standard, a declaration: I don't chase, I choose. Because if you've done the inner work, if you've built your mindset, your discipline, your vision, then your time, your energy, it's not on discount. You don't melt when someone bats their lashes. You don't fold because she's used to being pursued. Instead, you hold her gaze, you lean back, and with calm, grounded certainty, you say, I'm not that easy. Let it hang in the air. Don't rush to explain it, don't soften it, just let her sit with it. and in that silence, she reevaluates. Why isn't he trying harder? What's different about him? That tension, that's where real attraction is born, because now, you've communicated something powerful, without raising your voice. I don't need to be approved, I'm not desperate for connection, I value myself, and I expect others to do the same. That kind of presence, it's magnetic, not because you're trying to impress, but because you've made it clear, she'll need to show more, if she wants more, so the next time she leans in, waiting for your approval, don't flinch, don't chase, don't perform, just breathe, smile, and say, I'm not that easy. Because when your presence has value, she feels it. And she won't want to walk away. There's a certain kind of phrase, that when used with presence and intention, cuts through all the noise, not flashy, not flirty, just different. I bet no one's ever told you this. Now why does that line hit so hard? Because it interrupts the script, it signals to her subconscious, that something rare is coming, something personal, something real, in a world where most compliments sound like background noise. You're so pretty. Wow, you have great eyes. That dress looks amazing on you. She's heard it all, but this line, it shifts the entire dynamic, because it says, I see something others don't. I notice what others miss. You're not just attractive, you're interesting. Let me give you a real-world example. You're mid-conversation, she's not trying to impress you, she's just being herself. Maybe she's talking about her aging father, or her love for astronomy, or the quiet way she journals every morning, and you pause, look her in the eye, and say, I bet no one's ever told you this, but the way you speak about your world, it feels like you're protecting something sacred. Now stop, let the moment breathe, because in that pause, you've done something rare, you've seen her inner world. This isn't flattery, it's not performance, it's precision. You're reaching into a part of her identity she rarely shares, and holding it with calm respect. You could say, I bet no one's ever told you this, but there's a calm depth to you. Like you feel things deeply, but rarely say them out loud. Or, I bet no one's ever told you this, but the way you light up when you talk about your sister, that's real love. Most people rush past that. I didn't. That kind of moment, it lands, it lingers, it opens her, because here's the truth, every woman secretly wonders, does anyone actually see me? Not the filtered version, not the polished mask, but the real her, and when you speak directly to that, she feels it. You become the man she replays in her mind, not because you tried to impress, but because you noticed what mattered. But remember, this only works when it's real. If you fake it, she'll feel it, but if you speak from presence, from truth, that's when trust is built, that's when connection starts. So next time you notice something subtle, something quiet, something true, don't keep it to yourself, look her in the eye, breathe, and say, I bet no one's ever told you this. Then say what only you would see, let it land. Let the silence do the rest, because the man who sees what others miss, is the one she never forgets. There's a certain moment, when you look at a woman and something about her stirs a memory, not of someone else, but of a feeling you thought you'd forgotten, and when that happens, there's one phrase that unlocks something deeper. You remind me of. Now, on the surface, it sounds simple, but used with real presence, it becomes a mirror, because what you're really saying is, there's something in you, that touches something deep in me. And that is where emotional intimacy begins. Most men, they compliment what they see, but few acknowledge what they feel. That's why this line is powerful. It's not a pickup, it's a reflection, a story, a moment shared. Let me give you an example. She's laughing, freely, like the world disappeared for a second. You look at her, and say, softly, you remind me of someone I knew when I was younger. She had the same fire when she spoke. The kind that lit up a room without trying. Or maybe, she's being vulnerable, opening up, not to impress, but to be real. You hold her gaze, and say, "You remind me of the kind of woman who doesn't break, she bends. She bruises, but she always stands back up." That's rare. That moment, it lands, because you weren't looking for the right thing to say, you felt it, and here's the truth, she did too, because women don't want more compliments, they want recognition, noticing, depth, and this one phrase, "You remind me of," gives her that. It shows that you carry memory, that you've lived. That there's meaning behind your presence, but don't fake it, don't say it to charm, say it when something real moves you, then pause, breathe, and let the truth come through your voice. "You remind me of." Let her wonder, let her lean in, let her feel it, because when a man connects a woman to something inside his soul, she doesn't forget the moment, she remembers him. There are some phrases in life that sound almost too casual, too light, but under the surface, they carry weight, tension, power, and this one might just be your secret weapon. "It's unfortunate that you." Now listen, that line doesn't sound like much, but when you say it with the right tone, in the right moment, with calm confidence, it lands hard, because what you're doing isn't praising, it's not validating, you're not trying to be liked, you're creating polarity, you're shifting the dynamic. Let me give you an example. She tells you, "I'm obsessed with cheesecake." She's smiling, flirting, waiting for a reaction. Most guys, they nod, they try to relate, they go, "Oh, me too." Boring, but you lean back, soft smirk, steady eyes, then drop it. "It's unfortunate that you're so addictive. I might be in trouble." You didn't praise, you didn't chase, but what you did, you stirred curiosity, you broke the script. She's not thinking, "He likes me." She's wondering, what did he mean by that? Or maybe she's showing off, a little too confident, a little playful. You smile. Calm. Grounded, then you say, "It's unfortunate that you're this confident. I'm not sure the world's ready." Again, you're not insulting her, you're teasing the edge, you're playing with contrast, you're pulling her in, without chasing her. Here's what most men miss, this kind of line isn't about dominance, it's about holding your center, owning your worth, making her work for your attention without saying it out loud, and that creates magnetic tension. But here's the key, you only use it when it's earned. Not as a trick, not as a gimmick, you use it when she gives you that look, that spark, that challenge, and instead of folding, you lean back, hold the tension, and say, "It's unfortunate that you." No explanation, no recovery, just silence. Let her sit with it, let her feel it, because in that moment, she's not seeing just another guy, she's seeing a man with standards, with mystery, with restraint, and the truth is, the man who doesn't chase, is the man who chooses. So next time she flirts, teases, or challenges you, don't overthink it, don't validate too soon, just breathe, smile slightly, and say, "It's unfortunate that you." Because sometimes, the most powerful things you say, are the ones she never sees coming, and those, are the ones she remembers. So here's the truth, once you understand these phrases, not just the words, but the energy behind them, everything starts to shift, conversations feel smoother, the awkwardness fades, and women start responding to you, differently, not because you're louder, not because you're trying harder, but because you're no longer chasing, you're attracting. From a place of calm, grounded, presence, you're not out there looking for approval, you're not performing, you've flipped the entire dynamic, and that's when it happens, women lean in. They listen more closely, they feel something rare. Why? Because most men try to impress, but you've learned to connect. You speak fewer words, but each one lands with weight, with truth, with self-respect behind it. Because attraction, it's not about volume, it's about vibe. It's not about trying to be interesting, it's about being interested, in a way that's real, attuned, and intentional. And when you show up with that level of awareness, you don't need to push, you don't need to chase, you become the man she remembers. But I need to say this clearly, these phrases only work when you've done the inner work. You can't fake stillness. You can't fake standards, you either embody it, or you don't. So don't just repeat these lines, become the kind of man who doesn't need to prove himself, the man who speaks, and people feel it, because when your presence is aligned with your words, everything about you commands attention, without ever needing to demand it. That's the shift, from performer to presence, from approval seeker to chooser, from chasing to magnetizing. And this shift, it's not loud, it doesn't come with fireworks, but emotionally intelligent women, they feel it immediately. So if this message hits something inside you, if you're tired of surface-level games, tired of overthinking, pleasing, and playing by rules that never worked in your favor, and you're ready to show up as a man who attracts, not because he's trying to be liked, but because he finally likes himself enough to stop trying, then this is your moment. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and join a movement of men who lead with presence, speak with clarity, and attract from a place of truth, not performance. Because this isn't just about women, it's about how you carry yourself everywhere you go, with everyone you meet. And the next video, we're diving even deeper into the emotional language and power dynamics that make men irresistible without ever raising their voice. So stay tuned, because this journey, it's just getting started.